Good afternoon, and welcome to Monday Mug Mentions, week number 12. We are 3 months in. This is a segment where over the course of a cup of coffee, I talk about things that interest me in the tabletop industry. So after 3 months, we've finally learned how to say that intro without murking it all up, so it's been real good. Thank you all for joining me this afternoon. This is a really nice, hot, warm cup of coffee. Let's get the type of coffee up on the screen, and then we'll start doing some hellos to everyone. So this week I'm drinking what my partner Andrew corrected me on. I think on like week 2 I had some of this same brand coffee. It's Javalia Cafe, and it's Special Reserve Costa Rica. This is their sort of more coarse ground coffee. It's really tasty. I like it. And I have to answer an email question here before we get started about the coffee, as a matter of fact. So, hello to everyone. Good morning. Thank you for joining me. Richard, Mandy, Thomas, John, Stephanie, Yuri, Zach, Andrew, Gil. Hello. I hope your Monday is going fantastic. I hope you have some coffee. I hope you're drinking it. Oh, that is a very tasty, very dark coffee. I like it. It's really, really good. It is hot. I'm going to give it a second. So, all right. I have an email. Hello, Yuri. Good to see you. Hello, Courtney. My lovely wife. Good to see you. You're probably hanging out with our baby. Ian. Good to see you. James. Good to see you. Thank you all for joining. Okay, so I have an email, and I'm going to just sum it up. They had a longer sort of question about everything, but it said something along the lines of, Marshall, you have this great coffee that you tell us about each week, and you drink it, but you don't tell us how you make it or how you enjoy it or anything like that. On YouTube, there's a little intro video that sort of shows you my process, but I just realized I don't show that on Facebook, so I wanted to let you know how I do this with the coffee for my personal taste, at least for this each week. What I do is I take a carafe and just boil hot water, and then put my AeroPress. An AeroPress is just a little plastic tube that has a little filter in the bottom. You put some coffee in it, and then you press it down through into the cup, and then you add the rest of the water and cream and sugar. And for me personally, I like a couple of spoonfuls of sugar, and then I like to add fat-free half and half, which I guess that would just be half. I don't really understand. My wife and I have had this conversation a few times. Like, what is fat-free half and half? If it's fat-free, isn't half of half and half fat? I don't know. Anyway, fat-free half and half is what I put in my coffee with a couple of spoonfuls of sugar, and that's it. So I really, really enjoy it. So a few more hellos. Hello, Justin, Mark, Nicole, Gwen, Julie, Martin. Hello to everyone. Gwen, congratulations on both being on the radio last night. I listened to you guys while I was at the dinner table. I put my phone up and had the WESU stream, and Gwen and Sam were on WESU. And they were doing something pretty awesome, talking about their game Fire Tower, which is doing great on Kickstarter right now. It's a really, really cool game, family game too. I love it. It's a fun one. So the Javalia Cafe Special Reserve Costa Rica is good coffee. I would definitely recommend it. It's coarse ground, so if you do like filter coffee, this is perfect. You can actually put this stuff right into a filter, and it's good. So, hello, Martin. Hello, Nicole. Coffee, yeah, I gotta have it, especially right now. We are almost 2 weeks into having a brand new human in our life, and it's a wonderful thing, but it definitely runs your batteries down. I guarantee you that. So, all right, and I've been drinking a lot of coffee. So let's get right into the mechanisms this week that I want to talk about. And those are kind of a fun little mix. This is something that most people can probably identify with. The first game that I'm going to talk about is published by Cool Mini or Not, or CMON, as it's now called. It's also published by about 19 other people. I think there's a lot of publishing rights to this in different countries, but it's Potion Explosion. And Potion Explosion is a really, really fun game where you've got these. It's also got an amazing table presence, and you get to put this really, really cool sort of structure on the table that holds these marbles as they roll down. And if you ever played a match 3 game, which I think most of us have, where you're trying to match, let's say, 3 gems of the same color, then you can immediately sort of look at Potion Explosion and go, I have a pretty good idea of what I'm doing there, which is matching colors and taking things, right? And it makes more things happen as the marbles roll down. So it's a really, really cool sort of way to correlate those two things and sort of piggyback that mechanism of match 3 into the board game world in a way that's clever and has an amazing table presence. So if you've never seen Potion Explosion, take a look at a picture of it on the table. It's incredible. You've got this structure that holds all your different marbles that are your ingredients for your potions, and you place the marbles into these little potion pieces. It's an incredibly well put together game. I just listened to Eric Lang talk about the reasons that CMON was interested in it on the most recent Ludology. I think it was called Odd Lang Design, which is a great pun, by the way. I'd say Gil really knocked that one out of the park that week. So I listened to this episode, and I listened to Eric talk about what CMON's looking for in games. And table presence was clearly something that came up like multiple times. I think if you just look at their catalog currently since he's been there, you can see that that's clear. Table presence is something they've definitely been big on. So hello, John, Ben, Steve, Corey. Thank you all for joining. Corey says, Potion Explosion is my wife's favorite game. Pulled her into the hobby with me. I think that's amazing. I think it's also one of those games that definitely has that ability. Potion Explosion is one of the games where you could have somebody who's maybe only played iPhone games. Maybe they've never even really played video games, and they might just intuitively be able to pick that one up. So I love how nice and intuitive and strong of a gateway game that is, for sure. So Jeff Wallace, hello, good to see you all the way from New York. Jeff and I recently played Caverna, and I've been thinking about that game ever since we played, Jeff. I cannot wait to play Caverna again. I really, really want to get another play in. I had so much fun. It was I haven't had that much fun playing a big Euro in a while. I think it may have replaced Agricola permanently for me. It was fun. Thank you for teaching me, Jeff. Yeah, so Potion Explosion is great. I mean, you're just, again, match 3 is a lot of fun. You have a really, really good time while you're pulling these things out and making your potions, and then they can allow you to manipulate, be able to pull out more marbles. And I mean, if you've ever played a match 3, it's pretty similar. Now, the thing about match 3s on the digital side is there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them, like thousands of match 3s. That's just on the iPhone. There's thousands on the computer, and on other game systems, there's hundreds of thousands more. I will definitely, Thomas, I will grab you can see I've got the paints behind me. I will show you a painted miniature in just a moment. You've got match 3 games are a dime a dozen. There's a whole lot of them. So when I went to go think about what match 3 games are important to me on the digital side, there's only a few that stand out as really, really important. I also asked my partner Andrew. I wanted to kind of get him brought into this conversation a little bit, because Andrew's a developer. If you guys don't know what a developer does, they make the game what it is. Usually we have a design development tennis game we sort of play, and he does design as well. But if I design a game, then I bounce that over to Andrew, and he goes, this is broken, that's broken, that's broken. And I go, oh, I will go back and try and fix those, and I'll send you a new version. And we kind of do that back and forth. And that's what a developer often does. There's other things a developer can do as well. There's other things Andrew does. I don't want to simplify, but he's like the engine running this whole thing in terms of, how we talk about, games and how to build them and what's wrong with certain portions of the design. So I wanted him to chime in, and he says he used to play Bejeweled. He enjoyed that, and Candy Crush, but they sort of ran up after a bit. And then he said he plays a Thomas from time to time. So those are the ones that he had come to mind. For me, there's only one that's really like an amazing new take on this, and I played it for a long while. This is actually when I was reviewing video games regularly. That is some really good coffee. So it's Ironcast by Ripstone Games, and to bring up my friend Mike Rose again, I think he was working at Ripstone at the time when they published this game. It's now out on Switch. I just found that it's on the Switch, and I'm probably going to pick it up for my Switch because it's a really good take and go game. So the way it works is it's a match 3 where you can draw a line between your different gyms, and when you draw the line between them all, they pop. You get that as a resource, be that ammunition, energy, repair, or cooling. So you're driving this big mech. The reason it's called Ironcast is you're driving this big mech through sort of Victorian steampunk city. A theme I generally tend to enjoy, but also it's done really well. Like the match 3 portion is just the catalyst for getting enough things to do what you're supposed to do in the game, which is attack trains or other mechs and things like that. And it's a really, really interesting and fun way to explore a match 3 game, which normally is just, putting, again, Candy Crush or things like that you throw together. Ironcast puts you into a real sort of battle zone where the match 3 doesn't feel hokey. It actually feels important to make sure that you make the right decisions and you draw the line in the right way. So it's a lot of fun to me to see that. So hello, Damien. Hello, Timothy. Thank y'all for joining me this afternoon. Timothy says congrats on the new baby. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I am doing my best to stay awake and focused and try and keep everything going. The coffee definitely helps. I promise you that. Congratulations, Damien, on your new baby. I think I just saw some pictures recently of your recent addition. So congratulations, sir. Let's take a look here at now Ironcast. I think I can kind of like wrap that up for the most part. It's a match 3, but you've got a whole lot more game there. You're building your mech. You're sort of, over time, you're upgrading your weapons or deciding what weapons to purchase and take off of your mech and put new ones on. For a match 3, it's got a level of depth that's pretty unique, and the theme is also incredibly unique. So it's a really, really good one to talk about Potion Explosion with, because Potion Explosion is, again, a really unique game. Lots of table presence. When you look at it, you go, whoa, wow. Same thing with Ironcast. Anytime I've had it up on my screen, somebody goes, what is that? Because one of the mechs has like stained glass windows. I mean, it's a really, really crazy steampunk theme, and it really works well. And it draws in people who look at the game very, very quickly. So I think those are both really, really good versions of match 3 that don't sort of wear that out. And I think that's a really cool thing. Like if you look at a match 3, when normally you go, okay, it's another candy, or I'm matching foods, or I'm doing this. I mean, it's, in this instance, it works, and it's not boring in my particular opinion. So, all right, so let's talk about media this week. Hello, David. Thank you for joining. This week I wanted to talk about Tantrum House. They are a board game media group. The folks I know personally from Tantrum House are Melissa and Kevin Delp. Scott Delp, I believe is their last name. And they are really, really, really talented sort of media group that puts together videos, reviews, previews, unboxings, all the kind of stuff that you would expect from a board game review site, that also does a good amount of stuff about Kickstarter and what's going on in Kickstarter. And that's the one thing I wanted to bring up about Tantrum House is when we had Record Live, I think both times, unbeknownst to me, Kevin just sort of said, what's the link or what's going on with your Kickstarter? And then promoted it twice on their video, which is sort of a Kickstarter roundup that they do, I think on a weekly basis. So that was something really, really nice of them to do for us. I really appreciated it. On top of all that, I then was lucky enough to meet Melissa and Kevin at Unpub 8. We got to actually sit down and have dinner, and they're awesome. We had a blast. We had a good time talking about how their campaign had just gone. We actually sent the stir fry promos for their campaign for Tantrum House. I really, really think that what they're doing is done in a great professional style. It's really, really well done. It's on that same level of like Man versus Meeple with just an incredible set, but really energetic and great fun, reviews. I tend to check out their site and their stuff if I'm just looking to purchase, because it tends to be a pretty good overview of what everything is, and it's clean and it's concise. It usually touches on all the points that I want to know about a game and what's included and what the value is and stuff like that. So that is definitely the media group that I would check out this week, and that's Tantrum House. I also want to say on a personal level, it was really awesome getting to meet Melissa and Kevin at Unpub. They were extremely friendly, genuine. I felt like I was meeting the people I watch in the video, and I really like that too. Like, that's a nice thing to meet someone and go, oh, this is the actual person I see in the videos. There are a few other people in the board game world who are board game personalities who I have met in person who are not the person they are on the video. I 100% guarantee that. I won't bring up names or anything like that. I guess that's a little bit of vague booking there. But at PAX Unplugged last year, I met someone who I was a big, big fan of, and I'm not as big a fan anymore after meeting them in person. So it's very nice to see someone who's genuine, and it's the person you meet, and that was definitely the case with Melissa and Kevin. They were super awesome, super nice people. I had a blast hanging out and having dinner and chatting with them, and getting to know them a little bit better on a personal level. So I also really, really appreciate that this is not their full-time gig. Like, to me, that seems like a really professional setup for a full-time gig type group. whereas it's not. They both explained to me we have stuff. James, it was not you. I promise you 100% it was not you. James is 100% the person he says he is. Julie, it's not you either. You're 100% the person you say you are. Y'all are both awesome, and I love you very much, and you're very, very fun. I love giving hugs to both of those two people every time I see them, so that's not even a question. So, no worries there. This person does not watch my stream. I can almost tell you that for certain. So, you guys, let's move on to marketing. This week's marketing thing is something weird, so I'm actually trying to figure it out while we talk about it. Okay, that's what's going on with this one. It's Ravensburger's Jurassic Park marketing. Let me do my mail call now. I held this off intentionally. Deep Sea Adventure I picked up this week at Barnes & Noble. They have it at Barnes & Noble. You can get one of the best little games in a box for about $20. And I've heard stories of this being tried to brought to the U.S. and for reasonable prices and stuff like that. But $20 is a great price, even though it does look like a small game. It's awesome. It's super awesome. It was not you, Timothy Gay. I don't think we've met yet. And I owe you a hug, and I also have a certificate for your copy of Ethnos whenever you'd like it, sir. I just pulled that out the other day, and somebody goes, "What? Timothy Gay's in Ethnos?" I said, "No, that's still a thing I photoshopped, but it was fantastic. That caught fire for a while there, that little certificate of awesometicity that I did for that." Okay, yeah, Deep Sea Adventure is a great game. I also got my copy of Bigfoot vs. Yeti and promos for the games from Diane and Nick Sauer of Shoot Again Games. This was a fulfillment from Kickstarter. Really, really, really neat. Building on their previous successful game, they've rethemed and done some cool stuff with some new mechanics. So Bigfoot vs. Yeti, I'm super happy about this. And then we are talking about the marketing of this game, which I went out and purchased right away because I said, well, $24, that's a great price. And everyone's talking about it in a positive light on Facebook. And now that it's sitting at my house and I haven't even opened it and played it, I'd like to know why I bought it. And I've got a few notes here I'd like to talk about. There's some interesting things I went and researched about the marketing of Jurassic Park Danger. So first of all, they launched this essentially a few days after the end of Dinosaur Island's $2.8 million campaign. All right. I don't know if that's intentional, but I have to tell you the correlation seems pretty strong there that you've got a huge amount of interest in a board game about dinosaurs that's generated $2.8 million that people have now committed money to, and now they are waiting for that game. So they're waiting for Dinosaur Island. Tens of thousands of people are waiting for Dinosaur Island. And Ravensburger on, let's see here, at the end of April said, this is coming out, Jurassic Park Danger. I'm not saying it was rushed. It may have been a development. This may have been running alongside. But whatever it is, it definitely caught fire in a few different places from what I can tell. So I've had 3 different people tell me they've been to their local Target and their local Target is sold out. They had to go online to get it. I went to my local Target and it was sold out at my local location. They said, we put them on the shelf this morning. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know what's going on. They had 2 cases. They were gone. So I went up the street to another one and got it and talked to their stock guy who was doing the board games at the time. And he said, yeah, this is the last case. And we had 3 this morning. So I was really surprised to hear directly from the employees of the Target that these were flying off the shelves this morning, meaning it's not generally an impulse buy where people were seeking it out. So I went to their Facebook page to see, well, when did they start pre-marketing this? How long have they been running this marketing campaign for Jurassic Park? Because, this is an incredible turnaround that at least in my area, and a few of my other friends that are around say that it's selling like hotcakes. I'm also seeing it all over Facebook. So how did they do this? What's going on? So I looked into the first mentions of it on their Facebook, and they were the end of April. I mean, they were literally, we're talking, I think April 27th is the first mention of Jurassic Park Danger on their Facebook page. I looked for any press releases about it. There were some that were, in the middle of April. So it's not like we did, millions of dollars worth of marketing for this campaign from what I can tell. Now, here's a neat thing that I did see that may be a big part of this is that there was the Jurassic Park 25th anniversary gathering, and they were there with the game showing it off to fans of the game itself. So, hello, we've got some new entries. I've been chatting this whole time. Brad, hello. Timothy says it's an awesome game. Timothy, I'm waiting to play it. It looks really cool. Everyone keeps posting that it's got some amazing stuff. Debbie, so good to see you. I got to meet Debbie finally in person at PAX East. We finally got to say hello, even though we probably only live, I think they live maybe 45 minutes from me or less. So very, very good to see you. Thank you for joining me. Nate, good to see you. Sarah, hello. Good to see you. Thank you all for joining. So again, this Jurassic Park marketing campaign, it doesn't seem like it was very long. It seems like there's some viral catching on the Facebook threads that are and again, it may be that the Facebook threads are somehow manipulated, but I don't think so. I think that I'm seeing a lot of people purchasing it and taking a picture of their purchase and showing off that they've got this Jurassic Park Danger game. It seems really cool to me. It doesn't seem like a terrible game from the things I'm hearing from everyone. They seem happy with it. It's got some neat-looking things in it, in my opinion, that probably my family will enjoy. So I think that's a very, very cool deal. But that's not what I'm talking about as a quality of game. I'm trying to understand how this game is essentially... I can't look at their sales metrics. I can't look at the numbers. But from the initial impression, it's selling like hotcakes at Target. It's off the shelves very quickly. They're going through multiple cases at small regional locations. I'm in Rhode Island. My friends that I talk to are in Arizona, Texas, and a few on the West Coast in California. And they say that they've had to go to 2 or 3 locations to be able to find one. And they've been told we stocked them this morning, and they sold out. The SKU's there. I mean, it's not like they're not putting the games up. They're just selling out, which is great. Ravensburger does some awesome stuff. I just talked about Castles of Burgundy. But I'm trying to understand how, when the first mention is on the 27th of April, they're able to start selling out copies this quickly. It's very, very, very interesting to me. The social media presence seems incredibly organic. Again, the first mentions on their page were the 27th. Then they had a couple more mentions. It's not like they're spamming out anything about this game, but it's selling very well. I really do feel like being on the tail end of Dinosaur Island's $2.8 million campaign has something to do with this. Like, I really do feel like people were really feeling like, I can't wait to get my dinosaur game, right? And then, boom, there's a dinosaur game available for a really, really good entry price. $24 for a board game is not very much money. So hello, Gerald, John, Brandon, good to see you. Gerald says Jurassic Park is just the hottest property of our generation that isn't in space. I might agree with that. I think this is a really, really good IP in terms of, that logo is very iconic. You see that and you know what that is. It's at the same time, I think that Dinosaur Island proves that you can do something with just a dinosaur theme without the IP and do very well. So, excuse me. I think that's really all I have to talk about on the marketing side of it. I mean, if anybody's got any thoughts on why this game is doing so well right now, or at least perceived to be doing so well, I'd love to hear them. I think the IP is strong again, but this wouldn't be the kind of thing that I'd normally, think is viral or was bigger than maybe it is, other than the fact that I'm talking to people in different regions that are having a hard time finding a $24 game in mass market. In general, when things like that sell out quickly, it means somebody's done something right in getting the word out, or or somewhere in the rigmarole of the board game, Geek something went and said this is going to be great. I do know that the developer, Chris Rowlands, is very active in communities. I think he was part of the group that worked on this. I think this was made by Forrest Prusen, which is a design house. Again, their products tend to be pretty good and solid. So there's a lot of factors here, but to me, I really do think being on the tail end of a $2.8 million campaign about dinosaurs, and then having this available at $24 in mass market, I don't know that it's a full portion of the reason, but I do feel like it's a pretty strong reason that it's sort of rolled over, or that the theme, and I could be totally wrong about that. Like, this is just speculation on my part because I don't quite understand what's happening in those terms. So, and Corey says because games find a way. I get it there. They kind of riffed off the theme. Well, sure. I mean, yeah, dinosaur theme park and things are going to be, generally correlated in people's minds to Jurassic Park. But I think, honestly, Dinosaur Island's done such a good job of setting itself apart and then making the fun callbacks, and not being tied to that IP lets it do so many other fun, silly things that you don't get to see, in an IP-driven game. That I think that's definitely. I'm so happy it's in its own space, if that makes sense. So I also think the team that did that game is an amazing group of folks. So let's see. Chris Rallins is awesome. That's awesome. Gerald, I would like to meet him at some point. I know we have probably crossed paths. I've seen his comments. They always seem very poignant on Facebook threads. He seems like a bright guy. So would be interested to meet him at some point in the near future. Thomas says, it's just me, but I get flashbacks of Romper Room when you say hi to viewers. Hi. Is that, I don't, yeah, I never watched Romper Room, but I do know that they would talk to you through the television, right? Wasn't that the thing? Stephanie says, sounds like something that would easily take off like wildfire, given some good word of mouth, since Jurassic Park is in a huge media blitz in general. And I agree with that. I think this also rolling along the same time as the 25th anniversary celebration for Jurassic Park. It all is a perfect storm to have, a really good product launch. So I'm very, very, very impressed by it. Again, I went out and purchased it for a couple of reasons. One reason is they marketed well. The second reason is my son was excited about another dinosaur game. And the last real reason I went out and scooped it up is that, I really thought that maybe once I heard that people were saying it was sold out in locations, that it might be one of the things that's hard to find. It may be that, it's only got some sort of X amount print run, and it doesn't come back up again. So I generally like to pick something like that up when it's doing that. And I'm a gamer, so I like to pick up new stuff, and I like to try things. Like I said, 3 new things as part of work, 3 new games per week. Last week I really failed on that. I don't think I got them in. But we had a baby, so I'm going to give myself a pass. This week I am definitely getting into 4 Against Darkness. Speaking of 4 Against Darkness, it's a little RPG. Ian, who I believe was here just a moment or is still here, Ian and I are working on a fun RPG-based project that I put some notes up last night and I'm thinking constantly about. And I'd really, really like to get that rolling a little bit too. But yeah, we're actually going to be doing some sort of RPG action. So let's see here. Gerald says, nice mug. Thank you. This is my Stormtrooper mug. And it's what's interesting is we found wrapping paper that's the same pattern. That's what my son's birthday presents were in this year. Timothy says, hold on to your mugs. I agree. Everyone hold on to your mugs. Yuri says, got to go make some more French press coffee. I'm getting close to the end of my cup too. I really appreciate you guys for being here. Stephen Bailey, Razlo is here. I don't know if you guys know Razlo, but he made Billionaire Banshee and Re-Extinction. So it's going to be let's see. It's going to be a good year for Mr. Razlo. I think if I remember, both of his games are in GameStop. So congratulations, sir. Ian Moss says we're about to gamify your life. That's right. Every business interaction you have from now on at conventions and everything is going to be a lot more fun after Ian Moss and I finish this project. Anytime you give someone a business card, you're going to be giving them something awesome. Not just here's some letters. Here's an experience, man. I cannot wait for it. I'm so excited. Like just everything I've been thinking about it over the last couple days in this last week since we talked last. I am super excited about this RPG project. It's really fun, small, light. It's going to be something that I think people will enjoy. And again, it's going to turn your business cards into something worth more than just stacking up after I've put your email into a list or something like that. And I have a big stack of business cards over here that I've not gotten rid of because they're solely just to test on this project. So it's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. Y'all have a fantastic week. We're just about at a half hour. So unless you've got any questions, I am going to get out of here, get some work done, paint some more minis. Oh, wait. Don't leave quite yet. I told you I would show you something. I promised something and then I didn't do it. Yeah. Oh, also, I'm wearing my. Let's see here. Let's get Ravensburger's. They've gotten plenty of free advertisement. Let's see. I'm wearing my Festival of Indie Games shirt because today, Festival of Indie Games. Because today I am finishing my last bit of judging for the Connecticut Festival of Indie Games. This year I was a judge for the Boston Festival of Indie Games, the Connecticut Festival of Indie Games, and the Board Game Design Lab contest that recently started judging. And thank you to everyone who invited me to do that. It was awesome. It's been a really, really cool experience. I've been having a lot of fun seeing people's prototypes from a publishing standpoint. I've seen a few things that I would actually like to talk to designers about, maybe bringing on to the Anaguana family. So I'm essentially, really humbled to have been given that opportunity, but I really, really appreciate it. So let's see here. It says, looks like I'm going to have to get some cards printed. Wait, Gerald, don't do it quite yet. I'll contact you about how to make that even more fun. Thomas says, wow, Gerald, thank you for linking Boston Fig. And here we go. Here it is. The piece de resistance. Let's see if we can't get it. This is not going to be great on the webcam, I assume. Let's see. The pictures do it much more justice, but here is my painted miniature guitar. Yeah, the pictures do it so much more justice. Some of the things I really like about the guitar, though, in terms of the detail that are on it, it's got all the little tuning knobs, the strings. There's an individual gap between each strings. Each individual, this is just even the back plate right back here on the back of the guitar, the back plate that holds the neck to the guitar is there with all 4 little screws on the detail. I am so thrilled with this. Ryan Lesser did the sculpt for this. And if you guys don't know, Ryan Lesser currently has a live Kickstarter campaign for Streets of Steel, which has a bunch of awesome minis as well. But it's like a pixel side-scrolling tabletop game. It's pretty awesome. I'm in on it for sure. Ryan's a good friend of mine. He's here in Providence as well. And he did this miniature sculpt, which is so incredible. I am really, really thrilled with this. I have more of them over here to paint. I am in love with them. I think they are just really wonderful. I'm a little biased because they're ours, but I think it's a really, really fun piece. And I'm just thrilled to have seen these. I have about 5 of them right now. Maybe I'll do a giveaway for one that I paint or something like that. Maybe we'll do that in the near future here. I've also got some stuff coming up where we may be able to do some game giveaways or something like that. Some folks have contacted me. I'm a little wary about tying this to anything officially. I really just like chatting with y'all and having a good time. And this being sort of a Yanaguana free and open chat sort of thing. But we do have some folks asking if we could, promote this or that for them or do anything. I'm not doing any of that currently. Anything I've mentioned here is something I'm a fan of. So that's that's just to be clear. But yeah, there is some interest in that, and we'll chat about it. There's a few different outlets, and I don't really know what we're going to do from that. But thank you guys for joining me. I really, really appreciate you being here this week. I hope you're having a wonderful cup of coffee. I hope you have a wonderful week. We'll be back next week at the same time around 2:30. Have a great week, and thanks for joining again. Bye-bye.